How does a zero-star recruit with one offer coming out of high school, an offer that he was almost lucky to receive, end up being the best quarterback in the country coming out of the draft? To me, Cam Ward is the perfect embodiment of resilience meets confidence, and hopefully everybody watching this can take something away from it, because I feel like there are a lot of valuable lessons to take away from Cam Ward's career so far. Before all the fame, before being a Heisman finalist, before the iconic celebration, and before all the TikToks and videos of everybody imitating his play style, Cam was just a normal kid attending Columbia High School in Texas. He was a two-sport athlete who played basketball and obviously football, where he was a 3-year starter at the quarterback position. Now listen, the issue was never Cam Ward's ability to throw a football. The issue was the offense that his high school decided to run. It's a wing T style offense, and for whoever doesn't know what that means, basically that just means a quarterback will be handing the ball off a bunch throughout the course of a game. To put it in perspective, in his 3 years as a starter at the high school level, he only threw the ball 267 times for 17 passing touchdowns and 2,200 passing yards. That averages out to 11 pass attempts per game in 3 years as a starter. For reference, let's take Julian Lewis, who committed to Colorado, one of the best quarterbacks this past cycle. He had 11,000 passing yards in 3 years as a starter for 48 passing touchdowns in each of those 3 years, and threw the ball 353 times just this past junior season. So to say that Cam Ward was underused is an understatement. But still, just like any young athlete with big aspirations, Cam was determined to get an offer from somewhere. I read that he attended a bunch of camps his junior year summer going into his senior season, and still, 0 offers. Calvin Ward, his dad, said that he sent out a bunch of emails, hundreds and thousands of emails, to coaches all around the country. 0 interest, 0 offers. His quarterback coach, I believe his name's Steve Van Meter, he was a coach for 35 years. He had a bunch of connections, sent out a bunch of emails, bunch of texts, reached out to everybody he knew. 0 offers. 0 walk-on offers. It was dead. So Cam played out his senior year season with the idea that if he didn't get an offer, he would end up going the JUCO route. And somehow, some way, I believe a week before National Signing Day, the head coach for Incarnate University, a private Catholic school at the FCS level, reached out to him, basically saying, we'd love for you to visit. He attended one of their camps in the summer, and they wanted him to visit, come see if he'd be interested. He takes the visit, they offer him a scholarship, and he commits. Now listen, at the very beginning of this video, I said that he was very lucky to get this offer, and the reason for that is because they had a bunch of other quarterbacks that they were interested in, a bunch of other quarterbacks that they offered, but these other quarterbacks did not show that same interest in return, committed elsewhere. So basically, Cam was somewhere in the middle to the back of the line. He's now at the front of the line, and it's on him to, take that opportunity and run with it, and he did. And I also said that Cam is the perfect embodiment of resilience meets confidence, and this is where that confidence really came into play. One of my favorite stories that I read so far, basically during an in-home visit with the offensive coordinator at Incarnate Word, his name is Mac Leftwich. Mac was quoted saying that back in that in-home visit, he would have told you that he was going to the NFL. A kid with 0 offers finally got his first one, and he's telling you that he's going to the NFL. It's not like he got like a huge offer. He got an offer from a low-level D1 school, right? And he ended up killing it. So a little bit of background on the head coach at Incarnate Word, Eric Morris. Before being the head coach at Incarnate Word, he was the offensive coordinator at Texas Tech with Cliff Kingsbury and Patrick Mahomes. So he ran an air raid style offense. And if you don't know what that means that you're passing the ball a bunch. Remember, Cam was running a wing T style offense, which means you're handing the ball off a bunch. So that's like going from pre-algebra to calculus in the matter of like 6 months. It was a brand new style of offense. Not to mention, Incarnate Word already had a 2-time All-American coming off a conference championship by the name of John Copeland at the quarterback position, so it goes without saying that Cam entered camp as the 3rd-string quarterback, except Cam didn't really see it that way, and this is where that next level confidence comes into play again. So it goes, and I quote, "The Cardinals were set at the quarterback position for the 2020 season with John Copeland, a 2-time All-American who'd rewritten UIW's record book. Ward entered the program as its 3rd-string quarterback, a developmental prospect. Except he didn't see it that way. He told his father he would beat out Copeland before arriving in San Antonio in August, to which Calvin responded that he needed to tap the brakes, to which Cam responded, 'Are you hearing me? Do you believe me?' So before stepping on campus, before taking a snap, before getting to know his teammates, and more importantly, before getting to know the playbook, he had it in his brain that a 0-star recruit with 1 offer who had never run an offense like this would beat out a 2-time All-American coming off a conference championship. And he did. And he didn't just win the starting spot, he absolutely dominated his 2 years at Incarnate Word. His freshman season, he won the Jerry Rice Award for Best Freshman at the FCS level. In 2021, he won the Southland Conference Offensive Player of the Year. And in his 2 years there, they reached their highest FCS ranking in program history, the most wins in a season in program history, conference champions, second conference championship in program history, and they won their first playoff game. But then head coach Eric Morris accepted the offensive coordinator position at Washington State, and that led to Cam putting his name in the transfer portal. Now listen, I believe that there are two major turning points in Cam's career that led to him being known as who he is now, and transferring to Washington State was undoubtedly one of them. He earned the starting spot at Washington State, but it's not like everything went smoothly initially. I think I read somewhere that he threw like 5 to 7 interceptions in the first 5 games, and I mean, it makes sense. There's definitely an adjustment period going from FCS to FBS, even in the speed alone, right? But it was definitely a necessary step if he's ever going to be successful in the NFL. Going into his second year at Washington State, the coach that he had been with from day one at the college level, Coach Eric Morris, took the head coach position at North Texas. So that left Cam with new offensive coordinator Ben Arbuckle, who really challenged Cam to be a better pocket passer, and in my honest opinion, really challenged Cam to be a better player overall. And I mean, it seemed to work out because Cam had a statistical increase in just about every important category for a quarterback. I mentioned one of the biggest turning points for Cam Ward was going from Incarnate Word to Washington State. But to me, the biggest turning point in Cam Ward's career was going from Washington State to Miami. And more importantly, deciding to go against the NFL draft to go to Miami. Because initially he declared, and I knew who he was kind of at the time, but when I saw the announcement, I was like, cool, that's a 3rd or 4th or 5th round pick. And that's exactly what they told him. Hey, you're a 3rd or 4th or 5th round pick. He said, hell no, I want to be known as a winner. I'm going to come back. I'm going to bet on myself. That's the thing that I really want to drive home to everybody. Bet on yourself every time. This paid off times 10. I mean, it probably will end up making him $200, $300 million more than he would have made initially, especially if he goes on and has a very long and successful career. And while we're at it, I feel like I see nothing but negatives about the transfer portal, about NIL at every turn. Everybody loves to say, oh, these guys are killing the game. Oh, these guys are never loyal. Does it need some regulation? Yes. Are some of these young guys impatient? Yes. But guys like Cam Ward are exactly who this was all built for. To have the ability to go from FCS to FBS, and then to have the ability to forego the draft, come back a year, build your stock, and still make some money is exactly what this is all about. Cam's kind of like the poster child for NIL in the transfer portal. And what I'm not going to do is downplay Cam Ward's year at Miami and act like he's only the #1 quarterback in the draft because it's a weak class. This dude had a great year. It's not like some underclassmen beat him out for awards for best quarterback or anything like that. He was the consensus best quarterback in the country by all means necessary. And you'll have people say, oh, well, it's Miami, it's the ACC, anybody could win there. That's not even true, bro. Since 2004, I believe Miami's only ever had one other 10-win season outside of the season they just had with Cam Ward. And since 2001, when Ken Dorsey led them to a national championship as a quarterback, they've only ever had one other quarterback drafted, and that was Brad Kaya in like the end of the 6th round. Cam Ward's probably going to be the #1 overall pick. Was probably the best quarterback in all of college football. I think Shador was great, but Cam was better. Everything I've read, this guy's a winner. This guy really changes everywhere he goes in a positive way. He has a positive impact everywhere he goes. And I just feel like if you're drafting in the top 4, top 5, top 10, it's important to draft guys like this because 99% of the time you're going to run into adversity, right? You're going to run into, not everyone's going to have a CJ Stroud, Jaden Daniels type of rise where everything's solved in one season. Is Cam Ward capable of that? Sure. Do I think that that's what's going to happen? No. But listen, you run into adversity and everybody looks at the quarterback position. Everybody looks to see how the quarterback's going to respond. And I believe that Cam has shown you no reason to not, put that type of investment in him because he has really, like I said, left a positive impact everywhere he's gone. My favorite quote that I read or watched throughout this entire research process was by far the ESPN interview where he said, I do play with a lot of hate in my heart. And I feel like I love that so much because, it embodies who he is as a person. From day one, he feels slighted, overlooked. He's still pissed off about having 0 offers at the high school level. I mean, I don't blame him. He feels like he deserved it, and I completely understand. I love that because that is what you're going to get. You're going to get a guy who motivates the others, right? If you are drafting in the top 5, top 10, you need more than just a quarterback, but the quarterback sets the tone. And if you draft a guy like this, he's going to set the tone for the next 10 to 15 years. We throw around the words the ultimate competitor a lot, and I feel like, yeah, it's true for guys like Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, but we also say it about guys that only show up when the light shine the brightest. Those are the guys that they only want to be there when it matters most. And look, I understand that some guys are just wired that way, but who are you when no one's watching? Who are you when like you're down bad, right? Because I felt like a lot of the times at Miami, I was hearing about comeback after comeback after comeback. It wasn't because of Miami's defense. It was because of Cam Ward. That doesn't just translate to Miami. I'm not really even talking about that. I want to talk about going back to Incarnate Word at the FCS level. I saw some of the stadiums they were playing in. They look like high school stadiums. You know, you could easily convince yourself, man, this shit doesn't matter. I'm just here. But from day one, this guy really cares, and everyone is going to feel that, from the fan base to the team to the coaching staff to the front office. You know, obviously some guys can't make up for shitty front offices. Do I worry about him going to Tennessee? Yeah, I do. But at the same time, some guys they have that ability to turn anywhere they are around. And I'm not saying he's going to win 6, 7, 8 Super Bowls, nothing crazy like that. But I mean, I definitely believe he's going to turn around the franchise. I think there are a few things that you, me, and honestly everybody can take away from this story. Number one being run your own race. You know, you're so easy to compare yourself to everybody nowadays, especially if you're a young athlete. You're seeing this guy get this offer, this guy get this offer, this guy commit there, this guy commit there. It doesn't matter, man. If you can find one place to believe in you, that's all you need. It doesn't matter what everybody else has going on. As long as you're pushing your absolute hardest to get one place to believe in you, and the second they do, you keep it going. You show them why that level of belief is going to pay off times 10. I think another quarterback that embodies that really well is Josh Allen. He emailed thousands of coaches, he said, then finally goes to Wyoming, and now he's the MVP. It's important to just remember that offers and stars and all this shit, it doesn't matter. And the second thing, the most important thing, is self-belief, confidence. You could get someone to open a door for you, but then you could see, man, I got to compete against this guy, and the coach has it out for me, and this place, you know, this job just doesn't want me to succeed. Bro, winners win at any level. People with confidence always come out on top. If you're going to do anything, you might as well do it with confidence. I think Cam is the perfect embodiment of it, and I really hope that, you know, young people watching this or anybody watching this can just feel that level of self-belief and go on and do that in your own life. Because what's the point of doing anything if you're not going to do it confidently? Nobody else is going to believe in you unless you believe in yourself first. And with all that being said, let's hope that Cam Ward continues this story and makes it an even greater story by the end of his NFL career.